Hi guys, welcome back to the Yorkshire Modeller. We've got issue 11 of the Panini Collections Centauria Ferrari F40. So with issue 11 we get the first components for the actual engine block itself, and we get some type S and type T screws. Now for the last couple of videos what I've been doing is laying all the parts out, which I have done here, but I'm just leaving the screws in the bags. Now they're labelled with the S and the T on them. The reason I'm leaving them in the bags is because I don't want to confuse which one's which and then struggle to, you know, build the parts that I need. Also, these two parts here are what came in issue 8, so you do need those as well. So let me get everything centered at the table and we'll get started with the build for issue 11. These are all the parts we get with this issue, and these are the two parts that we got with issue 8. Now these have both got L and R on the inside there, so that tells you which side they're going on the engine block, which also has an R on one side and an L on the other. So that's nice and simple. But first, what we're going to be doing, just moving those over to the side, get those tweezers out of the way. What we're doing first is we're joining together the lower and upper parts of the engine crankcase, positioning the components as shown in the images. So that's these two pieces here. Let's get the next page of the instructions. To firmly secure the two parts of the engine crankcase, use two type T screws. The image shows the location of the screws. So the screws will go into these two holes just here, the big ones there and there, which also match up to those two there and there, which will go into those two holes there and there. So, two type T screws. So if we make sure that's all lined up properly there. Now it does go, these two do fit in both ways around, but you can see there's only one way where it will actually sit properly as it's supposed to at the bottom there. So just get that screw hole lined up and then screw that into place like that, and then just do the same with this one. So that's all done. So that's your type T screws sorted and engine block starting to come together there. And so that's stage 2. Step 3, using the pieces that came with issue 8, connect the left bank to the engine case as you can see in the photo. So now this has to go, so make sure you've got the one with the left in it and then the one with the left on the side there, and then this goes in this way around. So I would have thought it would have gone in that way, but that's just because I know absolutely nothing about cars, so it's got to go in that way around. So to fix to the base of the engine, use two type S screws. So if we bring the type S screws and open these up, there we go. So now the good thing about this part that we got with issue 8 is the sides of the screw holes have been like slightly beveled, so it should mean that we can get that screw in there. Does that go straight down? It looks like it does. Right. Right, give me a second because this is going to take a bit of jigging about. Right, so that's the left part all done. Now the easiest way that I've found to do it, because you're actually screwing in a part that should go straight down this way, but you've got like the angle there. The easiest way I found to do it is if you get your part all lined up, get the screw and then just slightly lift the part up, put the screw so it fits into the hole underneath in the bottom of the crankcase, tighten it a little bit so it's kind of grabbed, then grab your other one and do exactly the same thing. Just lift the part that we got in issue 8 up, and then try and aim it just going straight down, and then just very carefully, so you don't rip the head off the screw, you just slowly tighten each screw up, like one a little bit, then you go over to the other one and do the same thing again. And then what you basically get is you can get these screws as tight as they are able to go without rounding the heads of the screw. But it's just a case of going back and forth until, there we go. Until both sides are as tight as they'll physically go. Like that one's tight, that one's tight. There you go. So, and then what you get is, like, I'm just going to put this up to my microphone so you can hear a little bit of a rattle on that side, but that's this side just here, which I'll just tighten up a tiny bit more. There we go. No movement on either side. So that's those two parts done. That was actually the most difficult part of this one, which was the very end of the build, at the very end of that stage. So do the same thing with the right bank, which also came with issue 8. So that's what we end up with. There's another type T screw there. So this is the result, the V8 of your Ferrari F40 starting to take shape. Keep it in a safe place for now. So yep, the V8 starting to come along nicely there. But that's everything for issue 11. Well, that was difficult. I could have done with, you know, one of those screwdrivers that mechanics have. Actually, I might invest in one for this build. But yeah, that's the engine block coming along there. It actually weighs quite a bit as well, so this car's going to be heavy. I think it's like 8 kilos when it's done. The next video with issue 12 we get the major transition components there, and then we get more parts there for the gearbox, and that's with issue 13. So yeah, please remember to like, share and subscribe to the Yorkshire Modeller for more weekly model building geekiness, and until next time, happy modelling everyone.